I'm Gabriel, and this is The Rare Mind. Today we're uncovering 10 silent shifts that INFJs and INTJs carry, but almost never reveal, those invisible evolutions that shape everything, yet remain hidden. Stay with me until the end, because I'll show you how these shifts, though unseen, are the very proof of rare depth and transformation. There are changes that move like shadows inside the INFJ and INTJ soul, invisible to every watching eye. These shifts come without announcement, like tectonic plates beneath the surface, unseen but undeniable, reshaping everything. They carry this weight silently, because to name it would already diminish its depth. To expose it would invite misunderstanding. This secrecy creates distance, yes, but it is not the distance of rejection. It is the space where identity breathes uncorrupted. In silence, they remain whole, unfragmented by careless interpretation. I learned the loneliest truth in crowded rooms. A rare mind can be surrounded and still be unseen. That solitude was never emptiness, it was preservation. Silence itself becomes their shield, a fortress against intrusion. A way of saying without words, do not touch what is not yours to touch. In that quiet, they are not weak, but guarded, protecting the embryo of becoming. The silence is heavy, but it carries meaning. It is a vow. For it is in these hidden shifts that their deepest truths rest, truths that cannot survive in the shallow air of exposure. The unseen realm holds their real metamorphosis, their rawest prayers, their unspoken revelations. To recognize this is to honor the battles fought without witness, the victories no one will ever applaud. And here lies the prophetic reversal. What the world calls absence is in fact presence. What seems like withdrawal is sacred work unfolding. Their invisible shifts are not vanishing acts, but secret forges where destiny is hammered into form. Chapter 2, Nietzsche and the Power of Becoming struggle is not an accident. It is the furnace of transformation. Nietzsche knew this when he declared that to grow is to become through fire, through fracture, through the tearing away of illusions. INFJs understand this law in their marrow. Their hidden shifts are not vanity but the labor of spirit, a metamorphosis that alters their very moral center. They shed old skins in silence, not because they lack courage, but because the sacred must be guarded from trivial eyes. For the INTJ, the transformation wears another face. The sharpening of will, the refining of vision, the precise cutting away of what no longer serves. Where the INFJ bends inward toward soul, the INTJ hardens clarity into a blade. Both are sculptors of the unseen, shaping themselves in quiet defiance of a world that misreads silence as weakness. I have carried visions no room could hold and paid the price of seeing too far. This is the essence of Nietzsche's command. Become who you are. Not who they expect, not who the moment demands, but the deeper self that waits in shadow until called forth. INFJs and INTJs alike embody this law, though their paths differ. Their silence conceals the same devotion to becoming. Their growth is not optional, it is necessity. Like rivers carving through stone, their hidden shifts mark destiny with patient force. The world may call it retreat, secrecy, coldness, but in truth, it is the fire of becoming, burning without witness, yet leaving behind the rarest gold. Chapter 3, Why INFJ Hide There. Evolution. The INFJ heart is a crucible of change, but it rarely shows its fire to the world. Their inner shifts come with trembling force, yet they fear that such movements will be read as instability, as if transformation were weakness rather than the truest sign of life. So they learn to wrap silence around their evolution, carrying growth privately, protecting it from careless judgment. When I mentioned how silence itself becomes a shield against misunderstanding, did that resonate with you? If you've ever used quietness to protect your truth, tap the like button now. That simple signal tells me this conversation matters, and it helps YouTube keep showing you tools for navigating your inner world. This silence is not cowardice, it is defense. Words cannot shield them from shallow eyes that would turn sacred struggle into spectacle. To speak too soon is to risk desecration, so they let their metamorphosis breathe unseen. I learned to ask not why me, but what is this pain asking of me? That question changed everything. Their growth requires incubation, a womb of solitude where shifts can gather form before they are strong enough to face the world. Like seeds beneath the soil, their transformations demand patience and secrecy, or else they are stolen before they bloom. To the INFJ, each inner shift is sacred, never for public consumption, never to be diluted by the noise of unprepared ears. To recognize this hidden rhythm is to honor their path. It is to understand that silence here is not absence, but reverence. Their evolution is not broadcast because it is holy, and the revelation stands. What they hide is not emptiness, but radiance. And those who can sense it without demand are touching something eternal. Chapter 4. Why INTJ keep their changes secret. For the INTJ, change is not a confessio to be spoken, but a strategy to be guarded. Their inner shifts unfold like chess moves in silence, hidden from those who would read too much or too little into them. To reveal the process would expose a tender vulnerability, and so they choose secrecy as the armor of wisdom. What grows within them is meant to mature unseen before the world ever encounters its result. This silence is not coldness but calculation. Others may mistake it for detachment, but the INTJ knows that premature revelation invites interference, exploitation, or mockery. I have seen despair blink first when I refused to bow to it. That resistance became the foundation of my strength. So they guard their shifts with steel, ensuring that only the final form is ever visible. Transformation for them is tactical. It is not spoken about, it is embodied once complete. They refine themselves in solitude, chiseling away illusions, discarding noise, until only clarity remains. Alone, they find the exactness others cannot tolerate, the vision that thrives only in stillness. Secrecy becomes more than a choice, it becomes strength, the very condition that allows them to arrive whole. And here lies the hidden prophecy. What the world cannot see, it cannot corrupt. Their silence is not emptiness but precision. Their secrecy is not fear but power. The unseen shift is their most guarded weapon, forged in solitude to shape the course of destiny. Chapter 5. Silent shifts in relationships. In relationships, these hidden evolutions take on a sharper edge. The INFJ shifts emotionally, moving in tides that oaths cannot predict, reevaluating intimacy not out of cruelty, but necessity. They recalibrate their closeness quietly, sensing whether the bond still nourishes the soul. For them, love is not static, it must grow or it withers. This constant inner shifting confuses those who expect permanence without transformation. Here, we don't just list traits, we explore the inner mechanics, like why INFJs treat their evolution as sacred, or why INTJs see secrecy as strength. If you want that kind of deeper lens each week, hit subscribe. You'll always walk away with clarity instead of cliches. The INTJ, however, redraws boundaries with surgical precision. Their shifts are logical, cold to the outside eye, yet deeply intentional. Without warning, they can cut ties or restructure closeness, not because they feel nothing, but because they will not waste energy where alignment is lost. I felt the fracture of being known in fragments. I would rather be whole and alone. That choice once cost me everything, yet it preserved my integrity. Partners often feel blindsided by these silent evolutions, as if intimacy evaporated without explanation. But for both INFJ and INTJ, the shifts are not betrayal, they are protection. To remain unchanged in the name of comfort would be the true betrayal, both to themselves and to the bond. To recognize this pattern is to avoid collapse. It is to see that the silence is not abandonment, but recalibration. Their hidden shifts in love are not exits, they are thresholds, asking whether the bond is strong enough to walk. Through the fire of becoming ... Chapter 6. Silent shifts in purpose and work. When it comes to purpose, both INFJ and INTJ move like silent architects. The INFJ feels the weight of meaning pressy G against their chest, guiding them to quietly adjust their mission when it no longer breathes truth. They do not announce this pivot. They simply begin walking in a different direction, as if destiny whispered a command only they could hear. Their work bends inward to serve vision, not visibility. I'd love to hear from you. Do you resonate more with the INFJ's emotional incubation or the INTJ's strategic concealment? Drop a comment with one sentence about how you personally handle hidden changes. I'll be reading, and who knows, your insight might guide the next episode. The INTJ, in contrast, shifts with strategy. They see the flaws in the old structure and, without warning, redraw the blueprint. No proclamations, no debates, only silent execution of the new plan. I mistook exile for punishment until I found the work waiting for me there. It was in that solitude that I learned every pivot carries hidden order. To colleagues, these changes can appear abrupt, even unpredictable, as if decisions were made in secret. And yet, every silent shift sharpens alignment, carving away false paths until only the essential remains. What others call inconsistency is in fact mastery, the willingness to abandon what no longer carries the pulse of truth. Here silence is not avoidance, but command. It is the language of rare minds who do not justify, but embody. The prophecy is this: in the quiet recalibration of work and purpose, destiny takes shape not with noise, but with an unshakable clarity that only silence can forge. Chapter 7. The psychological cost of secrecy. Carrying silent shifts is no small burden. It weighs like stone upon the chest. The unseen changes of INFJs and INTJs create an interior solitude where the world can neither follow nor understand. In that stillness, resilience is born, but so too is the ache of isolation. Silence guards them, yet it also presses heavily against their spirit. For the INFJ, the cost is exhaustion. To always evolve in hidden corridors, to hold back words for fear of trivial judgment, drains the emotional body. Their inner fire burns without release, consuming reserves unseen by others. I have watched silence turn into a forge, and I walked out different. But the price was nights that hollowed me, leaving me thinner, quieter, harder to reach. The INTJ bears another risk: rigidity. In dismissing the perspectives of others, they can lock themselves in solitary frameworks, unwilling to open to supportive voices. Their independence, though powerful, can become a fortress without doors where no one enters and the mind begins to echo against itself. In the next videos, we'll go deeper into how these hidden shifts affect purpose and even career paths, and how to integrate them without burning out. If you want to catch those insights the moment they land, turn on notifications. It's the easiest way to keep evolving alongside this journey. The hidden life distances them from community, creating walls where bridges might have been built. And yet, paradoxically, this solitude forges a resilience unmatched. Their secrecy sharpens them, hardens their core, turns their silence into a crucible of strength. The revelation remains. The weight of secrecy wounds, but it also consecrates, marking them with the rare fire of those who have endured unseen. Chapter 8. Common misinterpretations by others. The silence of INFJs and INTJs does not go unnoticed, it is often misread. INFJs, with their shifting depths, are labeled inconsistent, too sensitive, fragile in their transformations. Yet the truth is the opposite. What appears as volatility is the courage to shed old skins and embrace metamorphosis. Their silence is not instability. It is reverence for change. INTJs, with their hidden recalibrations, are often accused of coldness, detachment, indifference, but beneath that mask lies precision, not absence. Their refusal to explain every step is not lack of care, but an unwillingness to dilute clarity with noise. I have seen my silence twisted into distance when it was in fact devotion to what mattered most. Misread. I chose stillness over argument, for the rare know that time reveals all. The truth is this: their hidden shifts are not chaos but discipline, not avoidance but transformation. To misinterpret them only drives them deeper into silence, reinforcing the very distance others fear. Yet awareness has the power to dismantle these myths, to see not fragility or coldness, but rare minds devoted to becoming. And here the prophecy turns: what is mislabeled as flaw is unveiled as strength. The silent shifts of INFJs and INTJs are not betrayals of stability, but testimonies of depth. Only those willing to look beyond appearances can glimpse the fire moving beneath. The Quiet Surface. Chapter 9. Practical ways to integrate silent shifts. Though silence guards their inner becoming, INFJs and INTJs are not meant to drown in secrecy. For the INFJ, the path to integration begins with selective unveiling, choosing confidence who can hold the weight without distortion. They do not need the world to understand, only a few rare souls who can witness without demanding. The INTJ, on the other hand, can choose to reveal outcomes instead of processes. Their strategies need not be explained in raw formation, but in refined result. This preserves strength while allowing others to align with the vision. I chose meaning when nothing else remained, and the darkness obeyed that choice. That choice taught me that revelation does not weaken, it clarifies. Journaling, symbols, and quiet rituals can serve as anchors for both types, marking their inner evolution without exposing it to noise. By translating the invisible into private language, they keep their metamorphosis grounded and alive. Integration does not betray secrecy, it deepens it. By honoring the shift with intentional markers, they prevent collapse into endless hiding. The prophecy is clear: what is carried in silence can still be rooted in the world. To embody the change without announcing it, that is mastery. To walk with shifts that no one sees, yet to remain whole, that is rare power. Chapter 1. Embracing the rarity of transformation. Silent shifts are not curses but crowns. They are the rare movements. Souls unwilling to conform to the surface rhythms of the crowd. In their hidden evolution, INFJs and INTJs reveal a strength few can comprehend: the ability to transform without validation, to grow without applause. What others call secrecy is in truth sovereignty. As we enter the shifts that play out in relationships, think of someone close who always seems distant, like they're changing silently and you can't quite grasp why. Sharing this video with them might be the bridge that makes you both feel seen instead of misunderstood. Nietzsche's vision breathes here. The unseen growth is heroic. The pain endured in silence is not defeat but initiation. To become who you are is to bear the solitude of metamorphosis, to let the struggle carve depth into the marrow. I have seen despair turn into teacher, and I walked away not broken, but remade. INFJs embody the spiritual metamorphosis, silent, sacred, veiled in secrecy. Their silence is the temple where vision is born. INTJs embody the strategic metamorphosis, disciplined, relentless, veiled in silence. Their silence is the fortress where clarity is sharpened. Together, they stand as proof that the deepest transformations are never loud, never obvious, but carried like hidden fire. And so the prophecy closes: the unseen change is not a weakness to be cured, but the very mark of depth. In silence, they ascend. In secrecy, they become. In rarity, they embody the eternal law of transformation. That the phase par action, that the fatherdy, they embody the eternal law of transformation, that the father matin death and gotten. Truest shifts are never for the crowd, but for the soul.